In honor of the full moon in Gemini, and to help us understand the style of this mutable air sign, come with me to look for ways to watch air move. It will be as elusive as paying attention to how our thoughts make things happen in the world. There are 3 card readings for you to choose from in this video, with timestamps marked in the description box below. The first reading takes place on the root ball of an old-growth tree. Here, we tap into deep memory. The second reading takes place with wide open space on a bed of sand. Here, we excavate layer upon layer of pulverized rock, eroded by weather and time. The third reading takes place as a mountain stream races to the lake. Here, gravity and movement can barely contain themselves. Skip to your reading now, or join me to explore the sign of Gemini in nature. Gemini is a mutable air sign. I like to get to know a sign's style by observing its symbolism in nature itself. So today I'm looking for mutable air that particularly likes to move. In our atmosphere, air and water are often linked. And so one way to watch how invisible air moves is to go where it mixes with water and gravity, like a waterfall. Or where it mixes with water and heat, like at a hot spring. So what is air like? Air is an invisible force. It moves constantly. It surrounds us all of the time. It touches everything. It fuels fire. It fuels our metabolism. It's a perfect external symbol for our inner landscape, the one made of mind, with its invisible wind of thoughts that ceaselessly analyze every facet of our existence. Waterfalls move through a mass of air. The volume, speed, and drag of a waterfall sucks air next to it down with the water, creating a forceful downdraft of rushing air. The surrounding air acts on the waterfall too. Turbulent air currents break up some of the water into droplets, and then tear them more into a mist of water suspended in air. Just like the swift mind of Gemini, which is a master at taking things apart to understand exactly how they tick. Wet steam is a combination of tiny water droplets mixed with pure vaporized water and air. In nature, steam is produced by groundwater boiled by the leftover primordial heat from when the Earth was first formed. Here in Western Canada, the bedrock reaches above the boiling point of water, just 3.5 kilometers underground. Humans looked at natural steam and then learned to harness it as a steam engine. The Gemini archetype seeks to understand the physical laws of nature and then devise ways to harness it. Gemini is particularly gifted at language, learning, and communication, thinking for the pure joy of it. It's an archetype of human ingenuity. When our mind is light, we use it to be creative. But when our mind is dark, we use it to be extractive. And so our world benefits when we learn the art of watching our mind, the way we might watch waterfall spray drift, or steam float away. Okay, my tree people, welcome to your reading. I want to say softly, 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 be soft with yourself. Whoever's at this reading, I see you, you're doing the really tough work of healing. You are healing some tough places you've come from. You are healing some tough habits that you have. And you've hit, like that top, you know, when you're walking up a mountain and you've come so far and then you hit the crux and you really want to make it to the summit. But it's the steepest part of the mountain. And that's where you are. And so it feels like you've come back to being a beginner again when you've put so much work into this path that you're on, so much work into the healing that you're doing, so much work into changing the habits that you want to change. And I feel weariness. I feel like something's just sucking away, draining away at your energy. And it's, it doesn't feel as big as it feels. The things that are sucking you dry right now, I could see you spending a lot of time picking at them and focusing on them and obsessing about them. And it's actually not as big as you think. This is going to be incremental, small, little habits that you focus on every day that's going to get you there. That's going to move you forward. That's going to rejuvenate you, give you the energy that you're looking for. I think you've been burning the candle at both ends, thinking that's the way forward. Just stomp it out. Just make yourself do it. That's an old you. That's an old voice. That's an old way of being. You are so close to birthing this new, complete way of being that you want, that you intentionally want, that you've focused on. I see some real focus here. It's like you've read the books, you've listened to the podcasts, you've paid the therapist, you joined the women's group, you've talked to your friends about it. You're doing all the right things and you're exhausted. So again, I say softly, softly, gently, gently. One step at a time. Oh, I see you. I see your weariness. I feel the worry. I feel the exhaustion. I feel you ending your day at night exhausted. So, from this place, you can't make the decisions that you really need to make, even the smallest ones. And I see that your way forward is a collection of very small decisions, but that they're constant, that they're made from the intention that you set for yourself, the healthy intention that you set for yourself recently, the one that gave you so much joy, the one that when you thought about it and you pictured yourself a year from now, it lit you up. And you have been making those choices. But you've just been going too hard at it. You've been asking too much of yourself. You've been wanting it all at once. Slow and steady wins the race, and I have a feeling you don't like hearing that. I actually think you're probably really good at getting shit done with a deadline, forcing yourself, and doing the job of 3 people in one day. But I don't think that's in alignment with where you're trying to head, which is gently, gently, softly, softly. You are looking to trust life. You're looking to trust the universe that it's got your back. You are looking to connect to an energy source that is bigger than you, that is endless. And the way to that is to be gentle with yourself, to choose the gentle practices. So I'll give you 2 of my rules, and you may hear this repeated on this channel, but they've really worked for me in very tough situations, and they've really worked for me when I'm trying to completely transform my path that I'm on. So the first one is, when you're burnt out and you're exhausted and you have something really important that you want to do, take down the grandiose idea, pick up your teaspoon, and dig sideways. So I don't know if any of you have watched the movie Shawshank Redemption, but when I was at my lowest point, I loved watching that movie. I loved watching him crawl through a river of shit to get the most amazing life on the other side. And what I took from that was him taking his little rock hammer and scratching away at his prison wall for, I think it was like 10 years or something like that, or 20, I can't remember. But I thought about that when I had to get out of a really tough, long journey and I had a lot ahead of me to do. I worked on picking up a teaspoon and scratching away at what I had to do. And I used to call it scratching sideways with a teaspoon. And sometimes that was 10 minutes a day. I looked at my list and I made sure that my minimum was I was going to do 10 minutes towards one of the bullet points under all the actions I had to do. And that was my minimum every day. And that was my minimum every day while I got stronger, while I climbed out of burnout. And it really worked. But it only works if you really, really commit to that tiny action every day. And don't let yourself get grandiose and build upon that action. Don't let yourself go, oh, I got that 10-minute action done, so I'm going to do 5 more hours because I'm feeling it today. Because that's old you, and that's going to get you back in the hole of burnout. So what you need is to, in the next few weeks, just commit to this teaspoon of digging away at these new healthy habits that you have for yourself and commit to them every day. I want to say that you also need to find a way to honor when you do that. When you do that 10 minutes and you do it every day, and I guarantee if you stay that gentle with yourself over the weeks, your energy to continue doing the healthy things you want to do are going to build. And you will naturally do more of the things that you need to do. But only if you don't push yourself in this moment. Now, the final card of your reading right now is the 9 of Swords. So I would like you to take some time to consider my advice. Consider how you might apply it when you are sitting there paralyzed, burdened, burnt out, worrying. You're like, that's nice that you just pick up a teaspoon and you do 10 minutes, but I might go bankrupt next month. Like, that's where your brain is at. And not to put your worries as unimportant, but it's just not helping you actually cope with them right now. So I can see you fighting yourself over this advice that I'm giving you, even though there's a piece of you that hears it and knows that it might be the way out of your worries and the way out of your burnout right now. But I say to you, you are on the threshold of really passing through from an old way of being to the new healthy way of being. You are right on the threshold. You are at the crux of the mountain. And this is just a difficult time where you need to choose that journey again. And you need to choose it gently. And you need to watch yourself build. And you will watch yourself step by step by step get to the top. For this reading, I'm sensing that you guys want wide open space. So when I set out looking for your reading, I just had this huge feeling that you wanted wide open space. And I can feel why. I feel like you are bound up in rope and I feel like you're barely breathing. I feel so much tension. I feel fear. I feel persecution. I feel unfairness. I feel like you're in a really tough situation that is trapping your spirit, and you have the most beautiful, sunshiny spirit that just wants to fly free. It's like you're in a crucible. You have some situation that's like balancing on a knife edge, and you feel like one wrong move and It could mean ruination for you in some way. And I feel a lot of compassion for your situation. I feel like these are from forces from the outside for you. I feel like there are some life circumstances that are making living difficult. I almost feel like you're in a legal situation. So for some of you, it could be that much of people outside telling you what you can and can't do. I kind of feel like you stumbled into it quite innocently. I think there's a piece of you that you trusted some blind faith in a situation. You were really inspired by this situation and you walked into it blind, and in a way you walked into a kind of prison for yourself, and now you need to find your way out. I can feel a kind of lethargy. I can feel a depression of your spirit, because your spirit is so innocent and so loving and trusted so much, and it's kind of crushing right now. I think the people and circumstances around you are crushing right now. And I'm very sorry to be giving you such a difficult message. I think I'm going to even pull a few more cards for the advice in this situation, because it looks like you have a fight on your hands and you're being asked to stand up for yourself. Because I don't see a lot of blame in this. I feel like you were caught in a web unsuspecting, and that whatever went sideways and however you contributed, it was kind of a mistake. It was kind of because you were confused. This wasn't what you thought it was that you were walking into, and suddenly it's like death by 10,000 cuts. I think you've been in this situation for a while. I'm feeling like the time you walked into this situation, it could be months or years, I think. But the beautiful thing is that you are not broken. Actually, if you stand up for yourself, you're going to find out just how powerful you are. And that, as uncomfortable as the solution to the situation might be, you might lose things in order to arrive at your solution, things you wish you didn't lose. And that's going to be hard, but you're fighting for you. And at the end of this, you're going to feel more powerful than you've ever felt. Now, that's going to take some time, and it's going to take a fair fight. It's going to take you showing up for yourself and doing what you know you need to do, taking the right actions. I suggest you get advice from smart people. I feel like there's a community in the background that you haven't accessed in a while. I think maybe you've been isolating yourself out of grief, out of shame, out of the messiness of this situation. Those people are there for you. Like, I feel like there's professionals you can consult, but I also feel like there are just good people in your community, friends. I think it's the tribe you used to have, or you know is there for you to connect to, that you wish you had connected to more. But they don't judge you. They just want to help you back into the light, because they see the light in you. That's the thing, is it's really strong in you. This light was there before, and I'm telling you it will be there again. It's just going to take a little bit of time. So I want to pull a few more cards about this fight that you're in. Some advice about how to approach it. So there's definitely the advice of getting advice. There's definitely the advice of leaning on community. And that community, maybe they can't help you. Like, I feel like you really need a professional. And I don't know if it's in the realm of a lawyer or a mediator or a banker or something in finance. But yes, definitely seek some professional advice to come up with a very smart strategy about how you pursue this fight. But now I'm going to pull a few more advice cards around kind of a beginning, middle, and end for that fight, what it might look like. So first off, the cards are confirming that you need a good team behind you. So you need to assemble a team who's going to strategize that. That message just keeps coming through, and I feel that you've been isolating yourself so that you haven't actually assembled that team. And it really feels like you may not know who to go to, that you may need to talk to people to find out who you need to go to. But that is step one. Please do that. Because that team matters the most, because they are going to help you really understand what went wrong. Because it feels like you're stuck, that you haven't even recognized the tower that needs to crumble. So the middle of this story, the middle of this fight is the Tower card. And that means that you haven't actually started the ending. You haven't completely metabolized what is over, because you still have attachments to the hopes you had when you walked into this situation. So you really need to understand that it needs to come down, and then you will heal. And then this team that you've assembled will lay out the steps of this needs to be cut out of your life. This is the effect on your life that's going to have. Your financial situation, your day-to-day life, triaging whatever else, how it changes your life, this situation ending. They're going to help you set up a strategic plan over the next while in order to make it through. And you will get out of this stuck place. You will get out of this scared place. You will get out of this place of shame and feeling judged and feeling like you have to isolate yourself. And you will begin again. It needs to be done skillfully, and I think you need a helping hand. And that's not because you're weak. It's because you're not seeing everything clearly, and you need some really smart, really kind, really experienced, caring people outside of you to help you see it, see the rot, plan how to cut it out, be there when it gets cut out, and then be there to help sew you back together and sew a life back together. Please don't do this alone. Wow, I feel your excitement, and I think you've really found your next step and that you should trust yourself. I think you've been slowly building towards this moment when you're going to make this big move, and I would say this is a career move or a job move or what you do in the world that you love. And you are an incredibly intuitive person, and I want to say trust yourself. I feel like you've been toiling away in the world, and I'm not sure, it could be that for some of you, you've been apprenticing and doing the steps that you need to do in order to make the big leap to mastery yourself, to being that job title, that craft, whatever it is you've been working towards for mastery over it. You've been studying, you've been apprenticing, you've been practicing, and you've been like basically doing your dues, like getting your dues done. And I feel like you've been working for other people in not the most ideal of circumstances for you, that it was a bit of a grind, it was a bit tough, it paid the bills, or if it didn't involve money, it was helping you build the skills that you wanted to build. But you've hit a point where that's just not enough anymore. You have bigger plans than that, and you have bigger wins ahead of you than that. And your skill level has hit a point where, you know how you crawl as you learn a thing and then bam, exponential growth? You're hitting the exponential growth place. I'm not entirely sure though that you've identified the exact choice that you want that will really make you take the leap. But I see you searching, and I see you pondering, and I see you opening yourself to signs from the world, to meeting the right people, to following the white rabbit. That's, I don't know where that came from, but you're looking for you're Alice, and you're looking for your white rabbit to follow down some really fascinating, very creative, very experimental rabbit hole. And the way that you're going to know that it is your rabbit hole to follow is it's going to be vibrant. It's going to look like Technicolor to you. Like, you won't be able to look away. It will just excite you so much that you can't help yourself but go. And I think right now that's a hard thing for you to believe, that you will find the sign in the universe for you to follow unequivocally. Like, you will just come to a place of knowing, but you will. And I think you're an incredibly visionary person, and at the same time, you're very practical. So I think that's where it's hard for you to believe that you're going to just find something so exciting and so visionary that you can't help yourself, is because you've been living in the very practical day-to-day. And this is not one of those readings where I'm telling you conquer your fear. I don't think you have fear. I just think you're a practical person, and you're looking for practical next steps. You know you're ready, but you haven't found it yet. And maybe you're just looking into practical places because you've been on this path. Say you've been studying, and the university lays out the courses that you need in order to achieve this particular certification, and you're just used to doing things this way. You're supposed to be looking in unorthodox places right now. You're supposed to be looking in places you haven't even found right now. And maybe that's not helpful except to say, because you're like, where are those places? But it's about opening yourself, taking a wider view. Look at fields adjacent to your fields. Talk to people in order to talk to the people they know that you haven't met yet. There is something about potentially finding a mentor who's older than you. So I would say look to older people. I'd say look to older people who've had an entire career arc, who is somewhere in the realm of what you've done, but not exactly what you've done. It's like you want to talk to someone who's had 3 or 4 different lives in their career in what they do in the world. And each of the stages of their career have like interlocked like a chain, but they're other than each other. This person didn't just build on the one same thing all through their career. And I think you want to look for someone who's going to show you that can be done, that you can break from a conventional way of just plodding along and pursuing something to mastery, and you can zigzag and you can hop timelines, and it's not linear. It's not a linear process, and you can be successful and have what you want, get where you want to go, be excited about what you're doing, because you are a person who needs to be excited about what they're doing. But you're looking for the perfect mix, and I say go for it. I don't think you're holding yourself back in any way. I think you've seen what you've seen. You've got hella skills from it, and you are ready to actually spot the perfect mix of what you're doing in the world for yourself. And you're going to love it. And I actually think that it could be a very long-term unfolding for you. Like you are on the right path of the journey of what you do in the world, and it's just going to keep unfolding and widening and enriching you, your imagination, and what you create.